culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome.
D-Malo,
Bro Flying.
T-Buggy, man.
Just the greatest sports show on the planet. La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
Yes, we back. It's the best sports show on the planet. Guys present sports for the culture. I'm your host tonight at Bryce XXV Double I, aka Mr. Big Leaguer. As always, I got the dream team with me. Bottom screen, introduce yourself.
It's your boy, and I just want to say, man, I'm so happy to see Max Kellerman back talking about boxing. It's not first take and some of this outlandish shit that he'll say about Kawhi Leonard over Kobe Bryant, but to see him come back, Max Kellerman, seeing him talk about boxing is making me hype for this Canelo and Terence Crawford fight that it's gonna come in. It's gonna be in Netflix. So I mean, this is not a paid promo, but just hearing Max Kellerman talk about boxing, I'm a big boxing fanatic. Oh man, it makes me feel like I'm having my childhood brought back to life.
Yeah, good point. It's kind of wild how Max just like really went from boxing and like spread his wings in the other sport. You rarely see that. You see a lot of these sportscasters come from football, basketball, and then kind of branch out. But to come from boxing to go kind of where he did, impressive. But I feel you though, man, because like a lot of classic fights, Max Kellerman was on, bro. So yeah, it is nostalgic to see him back out there. Who you think gonna win that? Why since you mentioned it, who you think gonna win right now if you had to pick between Canelo and Crawford?
It's too early, but I don't know the exact weight class they're having him fight in. But if it's
he's moving
something,
up.
if you're telling me Crawford got to move up, oh man, I think if Crawford could keep his defensive prowess, like I think he has a shot. But I don't believe in his knockout power. I still got to get it to Canelo. It's all about in boxing. It's all about the chin. So
Yeah.
I'm leaning a little bit more to Canelo because if you're telling me he's gonna have to staying in the same weight class that he's used to, and you're talking about Crawford moving up, which could get a little tricky because you don't know a lot of good fighters that go up in weight unless you're like Roy Jones was like my man went up to like I think light heavyweight and won that shit. But not a lot of boxers could go up that big, get that big, and like keep their same knockout power and same agility. But let's see, it's boxing. You never know. All it takes is one good hit.
That's a good point. We're gonna see. We definitely gonna talk about that fight more and more as it gets closer. Top right, introduce yourself.
T-Buggy, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Hey, Coach Gasly, AAU. And I'm back, man. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I had a week off. I might have had 2 off. I don't know, but I'm back. I'm ready to talk some sports, man. Let's get it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get it. We got some stuff to talk about for sure, man. So out the gate, I wanna talk about some NBA Summer League real quick because obviously we at a point where not too many of our typical sports are going right now. We waiting for training camps and football. NBA season just officially came to an end. Obviously, we tapped into W, but most of our audience probably is. And if you are, let us know. We could definitely start bringing more W content to this show. But I know y'all been keeping up with Summer League a little bit, and I wanted to get y'all's first impressions and on 2 players in particular. So obviously, Ace Bailey was one of the stories of the draft, and then VJ Edgecombe, who went number 3 in a draft when, if I would have told you a year ago, Cooper Flag goes 1, Dylan Harper goes 2, you would have told me Ace Bailey goes 3, right? And those 2 were in Summer League together, and I think I don't know, I feel like I got a good sense for both of them. It's something about going from the college game to the NBA style game, even if it only is Summer League, that seems very revealing. So I want to see if y'all kind of feel that same way. So T, starting with you, man. When it comes down to VJ Edgecombe versus Ace Bailey in some early Summer League play, who did you leave more impressed with?
Edgecombe, and I'm not just a numbers guy. And honestly, I don't give a lot of weight to Summer League, man. Some of the best Summer League players don't even get a bucket in the pros. But what I do pay attention to in Summer League is which guys like kind of pop, like kind of look the part, like splash plays. You know what I'm saying? And football, it'd be explosive. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the running back get 3-4 yards. break off a couple 15, 20s. I say, okay, basketball is like the big plays, you know what I'm saying? The big dunks, not just the breakaway dunks, you know what I'm saying? Joints you might have got in half court, just blowing by a guy, making a defender look bad. And I thought Edgecombe looked like the harder guy to defend. I thought he looked like himself in college. I feel like he played more confident. I thought Ace looked, I'm not going to say timid, but I'm going to say it looked like he was trying to get a feel a little bit more. Not necessarily going out there to take a lot of shots, but just get a feel for the NBA game. And my knock on him still is shot selection. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's boom or bust when you take and make good shots. You know what I mean? Hard shots. You know what I'm saying? That's a really boom or bust situation. And Ace takes contested shots. Edgecombe seems to be able to get easy shots easier. So I think that translates. So I think it's looking like they were drafted correct. You know what I'm saying? If I had to take an early guess, I think Edgecombe is going to have more success, at least early in his NBA career.
Interesting. Okay, G. After seeing some of that early summer league action, what would you think of, especially when we talk about Ace Bailey in comparison to VJ Edgecombe?
I don't trust any Sixers players that get drafted, let alone they're gonna produce in the NBA, because these guys are known to like be some decent shooters. Come pro time, these guys just fall off the map, can't shoot shit, play some decent defense, but are scared to do it. We've seen it with like a couple guys already when it comes to Philly. But if T's telling me this guy is a natural shooter, getting easy selections, making him look easier, I got to take my word on my man. But Ace Bailey, I seen the highlights. He looked pretty comfortable. I mean, he looked like he was just trying to play a lot of ISO ball. I didn't like that. Like, he wasn't really looking out to like dish the ball out. I think he only had like 3 assists the last game against Minnesota. What was it? Not Minnesota, Memphis. The last game, he looked pretty competitive. Like, he looked like he's gonna have a great time in Utah. Like, he's gonna get a second contract.
Yeah, nah, I'm with you, man. I don't know, like, and I hear both of y'all, and I was impressed with VJ Edgecombe because I feel like he came hot out the gate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and T, I do agree with your point. I thought VJ Edgecombe looked like he did in college, and he was similar to that guy that we saw in that World Championships run, right? When he was putting Bahamas on his back with other NBA players on the team. That was impressive, you know what I'm saying? I think that was the most impressive thing he had done, even more than his college career, in my opinion. Just the way he put that team on his back. But I would say that I was more impressed with Ace Bailey, bro. And I felt like the reason I was more impressed with Ace Bailey, obviously out the gate he struggled, right? I think the first game he only had like 6 points and was like shot horrible from the field. The next game he had 18 points, bro, and some of the buckets he got looked like legitimate NBA buckets to me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes I'm watching Summer League from the angle of like, yeah, you would get that off in the league. Because I feel like a lot of stuff that happens in Summer League is not the player. Like, obviously the players aren't as good. And there's certain things you just can't get off in the league the same way you can get off Summer League because the levels in athleticism, obviously levels in skill, but it's more levels of athleticism and speed of play, right? If you got a slow jump shot, that's always getting exposed in the league, bro. But the Summer League, you're going to be able to get that jumper off most times. And I felt like Ace Bailey showed me somewhere I was like, dog, what I'm seeing is about to work in the league. It's not just going to work in Summer League. Where I felt like VJ was balling, he was definitely balling. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from him. But it seemed like to me, like, okay, like, you might just be dominating lesser athletes right now. And I felt the same way about Ace in a sense, but it just felt like the pace and his play style really fit the NBA style of play.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. But I think the problem for me is if Ace, it has to be the guy, right? And maybe we're not expecting him to take Utah to the playoffs, but like it didn't look like ready to carry a team year one. To me. But maybe that's unfair. Maybe we shouldn't look to guys to carry the team year one anymore. Maybe that's a thing of the past. I don't know.
Nah, I buy that. And I think especially with the slow start, It looked like when he found it, though, it looked like when he finds it, he never gonna lose it to me. You know what I'm saying? When you go from like 6 game 1 to 18-2 game 2, you know what I'm saying? Like he probably gonna go crazy next game. Like that's the vibe I'm getting. And I don't know, bro. It just looked like it would get off in the league, bro. It like the buckets look like they get off in the league.
Going to get that shot off. And I remember saying, like, I didn't think he played to his size. And but he made one play where he grabbed the offensive rebound off the rim and then shot like a turnaround. And I'm like, ooh.
That Giannis step back.
Ooh. Okay. So, but those are the splash plays I'm looking for. And like I said, when I watch VJ just run by a guy, and like you said, that could just be athleticism, but sometimes athleticism translates. John Wall, Russell Westbrook, sometimes even Teague, man. Sometimes the guy's just fast. Like I can just the defense don't matter. And like you said, it's really gonna come down to can he get that off at the next level on the Dirk Whites or you know the guys, the Carusos, the Dorts, the guys are gonna throw at you. I think maybe.
Well, I think you bring up a good point with like this. There has been good athletes in the past, right? Russell Westbrook, John Wall, right? But when we start talking about those guys, we're talking about like the slimmest percentile, right? Because like there's not too many guys that are able to dominate where we say like, all right, this dude dominates off athleticism only. Most of these dudes these days have like a specialized skill that's also like kind of key to helping them dominate. But I agree with you when it comes to like Russ, John Wall. These dudes were superior, and then athletically, John with his speed, Russ with speed and strength. But then you got to ask yourself like, okay, is what I'm seeing from VJ that level of athlete? And I'm not sure it is. And I'm not saying he's not a great athlete, bro. But I'm saying like Benjamin Mathurin's a great athlete. You feel me? Like it's levels. You know what I'm saying? But look how, and he was a 3rd pick overall, I believe, right? But like, and he's had a solid career. It's not. He was just in the finals, not taking nothing away from him. But you know, I think some people were expecting a whole lot from VJ, and it may, to your point, it may come a little slower for him. We'll see. I think they both going to end up being good players in the league, though. What you think? Do you think they both got like all-star potential, or Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe?
I think they're gonna be intertwined with each other because we all thought Ace Bailey should have been the 3rd pick overall. I think they're gonna be just like how Trey Young and Luka is perceived, like to where like who should have gotten drafted first? Was that pick worth that pick? But when it comes to being an all-star, who has a better chance? I'm gonna go with the kid in Philly because how many big names are on the East?
Good point. And especially for Philly fans, that first point you made, bro, like they never gonna forget this. Especially if VJ ends up being better than Ace, boy, you never gonna hear the end of that from Philly fans. And if Ace ends up being better than VJ, Philly fans are gonna boo the shit out of him every time he goes to Philly for not wanting to work out. But they probably already gonna boo his ass.
Well, Ace has the space to kind of grow immediately. Philly, bro, they got talent. Jeremy Kane's coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't have to go and do you can develop that superpower. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you don't got to be Goku. You could be Gohan. You could go train. You know what I'm saying? With Piccolo. That's probably Paul George. You could go train and develop.
Yo, that's a nice comparison right there. Wow, talk about bringing anime to the show.
Paul George is definitely on this Piccolo shit now.
I think it's a generational draft, though. I don't think those two are Luka and Trey Young. I think they're probably more LaMelo and De'Aaron Fox. You know what I'm saying? Like all-star caliber guys, but not the guy. I don't know who the guy is out of this draft class, but I don't think it's them two.
See, now this is interesting because I wasn't on the episode where y'all reacted to the NBA draft. I was out that week.
I don't think we talked about it.
No, we
talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, we got to.
Well, here, yeah, I heard y'all talk to it a little about it some, but I never considered even the possibility of this being like a truly generational draft. But the more I think about it, it's like if a couple of these dudes reach their ceiling, and their ceilings seem to be pretty clear, like consensus ceilings, you know. sometimes you got ceilings where one person thinks he's gonna be the next LeBron, and somebody else thinks he's gonna be the next, Tobias Harris, and the gap is so wide, right? But with this draft, I feel like there were some consensus like opinions on what this player will become and that player will become, and that you might be right. Like when you say generational draft, what are you talking? 4 or 5 All-Stars?
Oh, I don't know in terms of All-Stars, but I'm thinking like when we think draft, what do we think? Like 96, 2003. Like I'm thinking we're throwing it up there in that range where 4 or 5 All-Stars might make sense.
I'm about to say that's how we judging it, bro. Because when we look back at the drafts, we be like, this guy made it an All-Star. This guy was an All-Star.
Not even that. Just that. Like where the players that people didn't really expect to become starters. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, a lot of times now in the league, you get second-round guys and never hear from them again. The Johnny Davises and stuff like. Well, that's a first-round guy, but like I think this.
You just got to find a way, bro. You just had to find. You invented the guy. Just throw him in there.
I'm just saying. I think this joint. All right. I feel like, and I said this on that last show. So if the listeners missed it, I feel like the universe always finds a way to balance the scales, right? You could call it karma, you could call it whatever you want. Bro, we have so many players hurt next season. Tatum, all the Achilles guys. Kyrie's hurt. Who ain't got a detached retina. Like we have so many good players hurt. I think the universe is going to reward us with, hey, you got a new crop right here, fellas.
I hope Trey Johnson's a part of that crop. Shit.
Not saying all that.
Yeah.
That's
hey,
it.
Man, I can hope.
Could very well be, bro. And these splash drafts happen. I feel like we do for one.
We might be, bro. We might be. And this could be the draft, especially when you got like Derek Queen going as low as he did. You know what I'm saying? Like
at that point too, some of the guys that people really loved slid or just didn't go as high as they would have. If you put Derek Queen in last year's draft, he's higher. If you probably put him in next year's draft, he's higher. But like, I think there's a lot of talent, man. A lot of talent.
Yeah, watch out for next year's draft though, because next year's draft look like it's on steroids, bro. Like you got Carlos Boozer's son is a dog. I don't know if y'all hip to him. And he got twins, but
twins, AJ.
Yeah, AJ Diabata, bro, he looking like he might be generational. And then it's that point guard. I think it's Peterson. Bro, it's like a 6'5", 6'6" point guard coming out next year, like a 7-foot wingspan. Bro, they saying he the next best guard. They saying he gonna go before Boozer and Diabata.
Well,
yeah, they talking about
generation. Coming to Magic Johnson?
No, Darren Peterson, I think his name is. Chad, help me out. I think it's Darren Peterson, though. Yeah, man. Watch out for next year's draft.
Wow. You said a 7'6" point guard?
No. He's like, I think 6'5" or 6'6", 6'5", but he got like a 7-foot wingspan or something like that.
And as a point guard? Wow.
Yeah, 1-2, bro. I think he's going to Kansas. But they saying this guy, they saying he the next one. So watch out for him. But yeah, I think y'all made some good points there on Summer League. I'm interested to track this draft now, T, that you called it generational. I think you could be on to something with that. We'll check on that down the line. Any other comments on Summer League, NBA draft, follow-up, anything?
Lakers in 5, you heard? Lakers in 5. Everything Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. All right. But shout out to Bronny James getting that dunk for the Lakers. I know y'all saw that. But yeah, let's keep it pushing. Let's have a quick little 4th of July talk, man. We fresh off 4th of July cookout season. And we were talking about that in the chat in our group chat a little bit. Like, what are some of the must-haves off the grill, must-haves on the side dishes? Then we're going to, let's start with that. Let's start with that, man. T, I know you was grilling over the weekend, man. What's the must-haves off the grill, must-haves for the side dishes?
I feel like 4th of July for the griller, it's the Super Bowl. It's your Super Bowl, man. It's your natty. Like if you really one of them ones on the grill, this is your weekend to showcase your talent. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't wait it all year. That's like it's almost like Thanksgiving for the aunties. This is for the unks. All right, this is for the unks. You know, the OGs. Pop, pop, pop. So I did a little grilling, but I, I think the must-have. I think you gotta have ribs. I think you gotta go ribs 4th of July. I think you gotta go ribs. This a little underrated one. This an underrated one. Hey, but it's gonna showcase your talent. I think you gotta go leg quarters. I think you gotta go leg quarters. You know what I'm
What is
saying?
that?
The chicken. It's the chicken thigh with the leg.
Oh, okay.
One piece though. Two pieces of chicken in one. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go leg quarters. Burgers and dogs is a must. Burgers and dogs. If you don't start the grill with burgers and dogs, you know what I'm saying? If that's not the first thing off your grill, you're doing it wrong. And then last but not least, man, for the big boys, you got to do something like, I don't know, a brisket or a pork shoulder or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't take it there yet. I just did steak. I did steak. But I think if you really like that on that grill, then you go something that take you about 12 hours. You gotta wake up, start your day.
Start smoking shit, huh?
Yeah.
A smoker. I
Yeah.
always wanted one. I always wanted to buy me one.
Yeah.
Nah, I want a smoker too, bro.
Must have. It's like a man having a tool chest. Like you gotta have a smoker, man. You get out.
You got a smoker, T?
Yeah. I got
So,
the offset smoker. You know what I'm saying? I don't got the big boy smoker, but I got the little offset joint.
Okay.
Barrel grill too, and it's not a must have, but if you out there trying to get it done with the little circular grill, you know what I'm saying, the ceramic egg for some of the rich guys. That's for the family. That's for when your wife and your girl say, "Hey, I was feeling like some wings." When you that 4th of July, you gotta break out the heavy artillery. You need an apron. You gotta have some sort of sandal or slides. A towel is a must. A towel to catch the sweat. Because you out there, it's hot. So I did get busy. I did a mini feast, and I think everybody had a good time. People took a lot of food with them. I ain't have a lot of food left, so it must have been good.
Oh man, I'm glad you were. That's generous. That's generous. That's a generous chef right there, though.
Yeah.
G, what you think, man? What's the must-haves off the grill? Must-haves on the side dishes.
See, for Spanish folks, man, I don't know if you guys do this, but we need some pico de gallo. We do pico de gallo. We pico de gallo every cookout, so that's a must for us. Some pico de tortillas on the grill, or like someone in the house cooking some arroz con candules or some kind of rice. Someone's bringing some kind of rice and macaroni salad. I'm surprised you guys didn't say that one.
See, so you on to something. I ain't get to my sides because I was on the grill, but I had the macaroni salad.
We definitely do a lot of pork ribs and beef ribs, but the beef ribs are cut like through the side.
The short rib.
Yeah. And then
short ribs do go crazy off the grill. I done had that the Spanish style, man. That joint do go crazy, bro.
What else we do? Hot dogs is a must. Spanish people burgers. It's like it's not a really big thing with us, but the glizzy globbers, or as Fat Joe will say, glizzy killer, serial killer. What else? I said this before on the show, and I know y'all crucify me for this, but we do spaghettis too. Spaghettis are a must. It's super like
Spaghetti at the cookout is crazy,
bro. But it's carbs based. Like Spanish, if you know you're going to a Spanish cookout, you know you're about to eat shit ton of carbs in some kind of grilled meats. But briskets, bro. Oh my god, I wish my people knew how to make brisket. So when you said that right now, you touched my soul, cause yo, I love briskets. But overall, like I said, our sides either consists of some pico de gallo, some kind of rice, some tortillas, whether it's corn or flour, spaghetti, and like I said, the macaroni salad. Whether it's potato macaroni salad or a different kind of macaroni salad that they have already out there. None of that shit with the with the raisins. Now that's no, we don't do that.
That's crazy working the macaroni salad.
Hey,
Don't y'all ever bring that around me. I'll
That's crazy.
crucify myself.
Hey,
Presidio.
to you did make a point earlier. I must agree with, man. If you don't got burgers off the grill, off the rip, I'm judging the cookout instantly, man. Some of these cookouts be loafing these days, and they only got the glizzies. If you only got glizzies at your cookout, there's no burgers. You're on the bullshit. All right, there's got to be burgers somewhere on this grill.
Yeah, man, go to your local Costco's, go Sam's Club. You always gonna find a deal the days before 4th of July.
so
That's
I,
a fact.
I did something a little different now. Because a nice sized burger patty will fill you up. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't really want people to get full because I threw out a whole spread. So I did the smash burgers. You know what I'm saying? You can buy.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. The smash burgers go crazy.
Oh, you had that kind of grill with the iron, like the flatbed.
I bought them pre-made. So you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't got time to sit there and hand make them and press them. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. But yeah, I went the smash burger route, and that way you could get a burger and still have space for everything else. You know what I'm saying? Because I had the potato salad out there going crazy, the tuna mac going crazy.
Yeah, the tuna mac.
Oh, tuna mac. That's what I wanted to say. We call that macaroni salad. Oh, bro, that shit be rocking.
Hey,
Oh, all right. So I ain't know the version you eating. G had the tuna in it.
No, yeah. So ours has tuna and the macaroni, of course, and mayo, and sometimes you could either put like green peppers. You want to dice them up in there. You don't necessarily have to, but you could to give it some taste.
yeah.
All right. I see. Okay, so we all talking about the same shit. That's all right then, man.
Yeah, the only
I ain't
thing
gonna lie.
different
I
with
thought you
Spanish
were talking about some
people.
macaroni salad with the vinaigrette or something, man. I don't know what you
Oh
was.
no. He said vinegar, right? He said, and there's some jalapeno dipping in there. Fuck out of here.
You said the back with the pico de gallo, bro.
Yo, pico de gallo, bro. But our pico, like my girl's mom, she makes it with avocado pieces in it.
All right.
I
Shit.
think like that. Before.
It be rocking.
Yeah, I can see that being good. But all right, man, let's keep it pushing, man. I agree with y'all with all those food takes, though. You really can't go wrong on the grill, man. Shout out to all the grillers out there, man. We the ones that hold it down. Did y'all do any fireworks, bro? Last question on this on this 4th of July, man. Y'all do any fireworks over the weekend?
I didn't, I actually went to see him. I don't think I've set off any myself since I don't know, my teenage years. But I spot out Columbia I always go to, right over the water. Get out, have almost like a big picnic. Everybody got the blankets and the chairs out, and some people got the music, the drinks, and coolers. So that's why I took the fan.
Good stuff. How about you, G? Do anything with the fireworks, man?
Well, I took the lady out to go see him, but we parked far away so then we didn't get stuck in traffic. Cause you don't never want to be the. I figured the method to the madness. You don't want to be the first one with the nice spot because you're gonna be the last one to get up out of there, and it's always like an hour and a half for like a 40-minute show, and then you mad at yourself like, damn, I should have left just right before they finished the big show.
Definitely was stuck, in my parking spot for a good 40 minutes.
Sick.
That's like every fireworks show ever, bro. Be having crazy traffic. It's
But
wild.
what I found out to that, right? If you are you're gonna have to bring a cooler, bring some cut waters, some White Claws, some of the seltzer drinks, so it looks like you're drinking a Red Bull. So it's not looking like you have a fucking whole bottle of Corona in your hand. But cut waters, yo, I do not agree with drinking and driving. But if you do have a cut water, drink responsibly. Drink super responsibly, because
I
one will get
wonder
you lit.
out of all those fake can joints, because there's a million of them can joints now. Cutwater is by far the best one to me. They don't give me a dime to say this, but dog, Cutwater go crazy, bro. You ever had the Cutwater transfusion?
No, what is that?
Dog, it's a drink they drink on the golf course, dog. It's a grape vodka drink. I don't know why they only drink them on the golf course, but I've only ever seen it sold on golf courses. But one of my boys I play golf with got me hit. Bruh, them joints so bomb, bruh. I'm talking about that shit. That shit tastes like grape soda, bruh. Bruh, that shit is great, dog. Like, I don't know how they did it. But try one of those if you ever see it. Shout out to Cutwater, because definitely the best of those. But yeah, man, the fireworks is an interesting thing, bruh, because I feel like, when we was young, we all used to love doing them. Now I just like to see. I like getting maybe a couple firecrackers, lighting them off. I might do a couple little launchers. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing too much these days. And the main reason I'm not is because fools getting their hands blown off, bro. All right, I'm not trying to lose my hand, bro. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy work, man. And I feel bad. I remember when it happened to my guy JPP all them years ago. He still came out balling too. But remember when they finally released the photo, the first photo that came out, it was like, damn, bro, really lost your hand, fucking with fireworks. Unfortunate occurrence. And there's another guy over the weekend, rapper, 4Extra. We were talking about in the group chat. Lost his hand shooting off fireworks, man. They had the pictures all circulating. Crazy work, dog. Crazy work. Lost and find it. What up, bro? I got off late, passed through 3 different towns on my way home. I had a show all the way home. No danger to my digits. Right. I feel you, bro. That shit is not worth it.
Nah,
Shit is not worth it, dog. I'm cool with just light a couple firecrackers these days.
but bro, it's something. It's crazy because it's crazy dangerous, right? We not licensed or trained to manage fire in any way, shape, or form, right? We don't have no pyrotechnic skills, but they sell fireworks to local people. You know what I'm saying? Like they sell them to local people, and they end up in the hands of kids or adults that's been drinking. And it's like, man, these are real explosives. Like it's crazy. It's just when I think about it, but it's just something magical though about all of that power in your hand. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. It's something magical about being able to light this little small device, and it's big and it's sparkling, it's magical. I don't know, bro. For some reason, fireworks, I don't know a soul outside of people that got like anxiety or something that don't like fireworks.
Nah, facts though.
But lighting them, and if you ever lit them, you know what I'm saying? Not just the little small firecrackers, some of the big half stick of dynamite, the M80s, the joints that get the launchers that go way up in the air. You know, man, these the same way we not trained to handle fireworks. Some of these firework companies not trained to make them. Like some of these.
We used to get the cheap jump back in the day. You know the joke where you light it, then you just drop it into a little launcher jump.
Yeah.
And those thinking back, that shit dangerous as hell, man. We used to do those damn near every 4th of July like it was nothing, man.
And but 4Extra, shoot, if you can search it up, man, he's running around with 2, maybe half a quarter stick of dynamite, and he's yelling like I don't know if y'all saw that video. Like he showed the exact fireworks that caused the damage. And I seen this on Twitter. Somebody said they were the Looney Tune fireworks because they didn't have no logos. Listen.
Was this a TNT?
Bro, it looked like,
Yeah, they said they had the Looney Tune fireworks.
I'm not trying to make light of a bad situation, but like the fireworks didn't have a logo on them. Just a stick and a fuse, man. And from what I heard is when he lit it, it instantly exploded. Like it ain't like the fuse go down and he held it too long. From what I heard, he lit the firework, it instantly exploded, blew his hand off. The pictures out there is graphic, it's gruesome. If you want to see it, if not, I understand. But bro, they gotta regulate this stuff a little bit better, man.
Yeah, facts. Skyrockets. You're right. That was what that shit was called.
You know what's
Skyrocket.
wrong? You know what's wrong with folks in fireworks too? In my neighboring towns, in this apartment complex building, set off some fireworks, fucked up 6 cars, all caught on fire,
Dang.
Bro.
bruh. And you know what is also wrong with us, folks? We use lighters and matches. You know what we need to get? Blowtorch, because it gives you that distance, so we can light it, and you're not holding on to that. Because you think about it, right? That string is only about like I want to say like 2 inches at most, and it's burning rapidly. So you
Yeah.
want to give yourself that distance. My personal opinion, I was watching a video set people setting on fireworks, and they were like, "Yo," some guy was like instructing people. He was like, "Yo, keep a bucket of water next to you, and only let a crew of 2 or 3 people do it. The 2 people that are setting off the fireworks with the blowtorch, and the person with water, just in case the fire like there's a fire that goes off." And keep like and that's why like shit don't get out of hand because like I said, a neighbor in town. Imagine like you minding your business at home, and your neighbors are setting off fireworks, and the next thing you know, the fire department knocking on your door like, "Yo, your car just caught on fire. What are we gonna do?"
That's what I mean. Like, all right. Like, I can't think of things that we are allowed to do as Americans. Too many more things that are that level of danger that you see kids doing it, you see old people doing it, you see drunk people doing it. I mean, shoot, outside of guns, and even guns got all sorts of certificates and training classes you could take. It ain't nothing you can do if you want, what I'm saying, want to like fireworks. You
All you
really
gotta do is find that right plug. Fracture's got some bad dope, man. Because all you gotta do is find the right plug, bro. Somebody, whatever they gave him, they knew that shit wasn't gonna work. Like, because ain't no way you just light it and it explodes instantly, man, without it being some
bro,
bullshit.
I've had a situation where like I light it, I go to leave, like I think it light, I leave, nothing happens. Then you walk back on it and it's like whoa. So, like,
Yeah, I know that's happened to me too. You'd be wondering if you lit it all the way, and all of a sudden they just start shooting off. That's
That's what I'm
dangerous
saying.
too.
Get yourself a little small blowtorch. Son,
I,
that gives you
right,
the
right,
distance.
D. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. But
listen,
we was in pre-show, man. I'd be throwing out some wild questions sometimes, man. I was thinking like, Forex lost his hand. And like I kicked this to the fellas, like, man, like losing a hand is kind of like that's really life changing as fuck. Like honestly, it's insanely life changing, especially if it's your dominant hand. If it's not your dominant hand, that's a little different, I guess. But if it's your dominant hand, man, you about to have to make some wholesale changes. And my question to the fellas was like, would you rather you could choose? Would you rather be born without a hand or lose your hand later in life? You know what I'm saying? Because like, it's kind of random of a question, but I
I,
want your opinion on that.
but I get what you're saying because like going through something. I'm gonna just answer the question. Like for me, probably I think it's a little bit easier, and this is with me not knowing either life, but it's probably a little easier to be born without the hand and learn how to manage life. Um, so obviously, whatever hand your good hand is now your dominant hand because you're going to train it, you're going to learn. But I think to lose a hand after you've had it is probably depressing. You know what I'm saying? The rehabilitation, the surgeries, everything involved. I just think that part of it just makes it so much worse, man. Because like it's certainly going to be probably one of the worst, if not the worst thing that's ever happened to you. You know what I'm saying? So I think to just be born a little different is a lot easier than to be born healthy and then lose a limb or something. You know what I'm saying? Like we see all them soldiers come back from the war. All the vets come back and the therapy that they need and the all sorts of help. Yeah, I'm gonna say being born because, bro, losing a hand is crazy. That's you. Everything we do almost requires two hands. Like we've structured a world for two hands. Even if you're writing, you're typically using the other hand to hold the sheet of paper or hold whatever it is in place. Like washing, driving. It's so yeah. I don't know, man. I'm a pick be born without the hand. I've met people born without a limb, and they've been able to manage a little better than people that have seemed to have fallen on some sort of tragic incident.
I agree with you 100%, bro. And I always got admiration for the folks that are able to do, without like a hand, a foot, a leg, an arm, whatever it may be, because they make the shits look so effortless. You know what I'm saying? Although obviously it's not. They've got to cope whichever way they've got to cope. Maybe it is. Maybe it does just become second nature and effortless for someone that's born that way. I don't know. I can't really speak to that. But I know I've always admired the way they're able to just power through that shit like it's nothing and make it look like it's nothing. It makes you, not only like respect the lengths the human mind can go to normalize any situation it's in, but it also is just respect to like resilience, that seeming resilience that it shows. But yeah, so I agree with you 100% though, T. I definitely would rather be born with it, and it's man, it got to be rough to be look to ever. I just feel like it's got to be rough to look down at one of your limbs, like and that shit gone. Like I used to think about that when I was watching like the war movies back in the day. It was like Pearl Harbor and all those movies that like from when we were kids, and like you just see people lose limbs and look down at the whole limb. Remember that video we spoke about last year on the pod? The dude just got his whole wrist chopped off, and that junk was just laying in this
Machete fight.
machete. Yeah, bro. Like stuff like that is just insane to me, bro. And you just looking at your whole limb on the ground, like knowing that joint is never gonna be attached again.
Well,
like,
whoever considers something like that, right? Even if you sign up to go to war, right? You sign up knowing that you could die, right? But I don't think the mind takes you to the possibility that like you might not die, but you just might be permanently altered. You know what I'm saying? You might be sitting there looking at your body not. Yeah, so I like you said, the resilience and all that, like, yeah, but whew, that's a rough one, man. So like, and really, this just come down the fireworks, man. If y'all there listening, it ain't always worth it, man. Just be safe, man. Just be safe, because I feel like every year there's one of these stories. Every year.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's like that other conversation we was having about like people speeding in cars not too long ago in the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always something, and it's always avoidable, bro. Like like the key got to be to minimize the avoidable things as much as possible. That got to be the goal, bro, in life. That's got to be like on people's mind. Like, let me eliminate the most avoidable tragedies that could be caused by me doing something. Speeding is one. Like, you can avoid that tragedy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, in fireworks, seems to be becoming a new one. G, what you think, though, man? Would you rather be born without your hand or lose it during life? G, you on mute.
You on mute, buddy.
You going off, though.
I said I'd rather lose it during life because I don't know, man. You being born handicapped a little bit. I don't know, man. I don't think. At least I could go back with the memories. As long as my dominant hand didn't get blown the fuck up, man, I'll be all right. I'm gonna thug it through, baby.
At least I go back with the memories. It's crazy, bro.
We're gonna thug it through, baby. As long as not my dominant hand, I'm gonna just, for sake of argument, say I'm gonna thug it through. Fuck it. It goes to show you willpower up in this bitch. You can be like, fuck it. We're gonna learn how to be like JPP. We're gonna use that hand eventually.
But I do feel like this though, man. It's kind of one of my mantras, bro. And every day above ground is a good day. So
Facts.
you lost that hand, you lost some fingers, but it's people that lost their entire life. So you know what I'm saying? You just gotta figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. And then on top of that, you probably get a cool ass attachment through the insurance. Let's say like you get like a new robotic arm type shit in the future. If AI is real, I'm sure I'm gonna get my hand back robotically eventually.
Future? For sure.
You know what I mean? Have my hand be half finger, half phone.
Or I mean, you a Yankees fan. You could just always wear a baseball glove. People would just think you're an ultimate fan.
Just walking around with a fucking leather glove in the middle of the heat. Like, yo, what the fuck is this dude going?
You a fool, bro. You want my man to just walk around with a permanent baseball glove?
Just walk around.
Yo, that's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, dog. I'm with y'all though, man. You got a different opinion. I respect it, but I feel like we can all agree that the days of fireworks might have to be over, man.
Yeah. I mean,
Personal fireworks shows, at least.
hey, I just pull up and I watch. And I seen a video where the people that did the professional show, the fireworks all went off in like 20 seconds. The whole show.
Oh,
It was like a little bomb went off. Like it was crazy. So even the professionals are making mistakes, and just be safe out there, man.
Man, we gotta blame the Chinese, man. They created fireworks and they let us fucking get away with it.
They might have. I think they might. They
I'm
did.
telling you. I'm fucking around. I'm fucking around.
hey, man. Well, one thing I can say, I gotta throw a corny transition in here right now. But we talking about fireworks, and there have definitely been some fireworks in the NBA recently, man. I want to take this conversation to the NBA. Been a lot of changes in the NBA, some pretty drastic, I would say. Teams like the Rockets kind of gutting themselves to become a new. Like you got other teams starting to kind of make moves. Celtics seem to be reshaping their squad. You got these other teams that are prepping to move forward with a major injury. Hey, appreciate it, my dog. Appreciate it. That Joe, I know you saw that transition coming a mile away with the fireworks, uh, but yeah, you got these teams that are dealing with like franchise altering things right now. A lot of them, whether it be gutting the team due to injury or just moving on or rebuilding, whatever, what have you. And one of the conversations that kind of came up in our earlier conversations pre-show were like the new NBA salary cap rules, and you hear people talk about this first and second apron, right? And you hear that word thrown around a ton right now, and we trying to just kind of like dissect it, go through what it means, not only so that we have a better understanding because it's relatively new, um, and it's something that's becoming more and more prevalent. So we want to make sure our audience has an understanding, and we got to understand it in real time. We're gonna kind of figure this out together. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that everybody's on the same page with what these two aprons are. Because I've been seeing a lot of different discussions on social media. It doesn't seem like a lot of folks have a good grasp on it. So real quick, just the basics, right? And this is straight from the AI overview. The NBA operates with a soft salary cap, meaning teams can exceed the cap, but they incur penalties, primarily luxury tax payments. So that's the first and second aprons, right? Which are additional spending limits above those luxury tax lines, each with its own set of restrictions. And it seems like the NBA is kind of making a push, from my understanding, to like have teams that draft players keep players. They're forcing them to build organically. One would assume, because exceeding the first apron triggers certain restrictions on teams, such as limitations on acquiring players via sign and trade, and restrictions on salary matching and trades. So first apron kind of makes it a little harder to make trades player for player, right? If you exceed it, which I think that can have a pretty large impact on how a team is now forced to operate, right? Because if you've traded for a couple players, you've taken on all these extra salary cap hits, kind of screwing yourself in the long run. What y'all think about that first apron and kind of what it's meant to do?
So how much money are teams are allowed to spend before they start getting past the first apron?
Let's see. So the cap is 154.6 million.
So are they allowing themselves to sign two or one superstar?
It looks like you can probably manage two easily, but I'm not sure about that third. But you should be able to get two.
Two.
For sure, at a 150, yeah, easily.
So the first apron for this next upcoming season is projected to be 195 million, and the second apron is projected to be 207 million. So we're going to have around 160 million for the soft cap, and then you hit 195, you've encroached on first apron. You hit 207, you're in that second apron, and the second apron basically is just more severe restrictions, right, for the team that exceeded.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead, T.
I'm trying to understand. So basically, what they're trying to do is like, all right, if you're going to build one of these Yankee style teams, we're not going to allow you to trade and maneuver above the cap. And, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're going to be above the cap, you're going to be penalized. You're going to have less wiggle room, right? So I kind of see what you're saying. Like if you got a homegrown team, you wouldn't need to sign and trade and maneuver if most of your guys are in house. So you could go above that cap if like the Thunder per se, right? Let's just pay a bunch of our guys a bunch of money because we got a lot of talent in house, versus letting them have all that talent, go above the cap, and then acquire more talent to make a super team an even more super team. If
Right.
so I kind of see what's going on here.
Right.
So is this like kind of the reason why we seen the Rockets do like that 16 trade for KD? So it was like a bunch of teams got involved. I thought it was just gonna be just straight the Rockets and the Suns, but it ended up being the Rockets, the Suns, and a couple of other teams, if I'm not mistaken. Well, yeah, 6 teams with draft picks.
I think that's a combination of everything. Like Bryce was saying, like teams are aging out, teams starting to rebuild, teams are hurt. I think we're seeing a lot more maneuvering right now because they're trying to get ahead of the cap, and there's just a lot of transition in the NBA right now. Like it's a changing of the guard too. So, you know, LeBron's at his end, Curry's at his end. Teams are setting themselves. I feel like teams are setting themselves up for what I would call the post LeBron era.
Yeah, and you know, to go further with like what you're explaining, what they're kind of trying to do, how they're trying to set the league up. If you stay above the first apron for a certain amount of years, they can face draft restrictions and draft penalties. So that's another thing, right? Is like
They're making teams spend money.
Right, and then another thing, yeah, exactly. And then if you go to the second apron, spend over that $207 million, you have no sign and trades, so you can't sign and trade players, right? So basically, you can't manipulate the salary cap by signing someone's like matching salary with a player that you want with a couple other players on your team, right? That's all a sign and trade is, right? You're matching salary for a current player and giving him more years on his contract, right? Or the other team is offering him the deal because they have the free cap space, and then they're trading him to you for some additional cap space, right? And like that's crazy work, right? They'll trade you an $80 million player for your two $40 million players who are expiring, right? Like if teams are doing that, that's a simple way around the cap, easy cap maneuver, right? Maneuvering. And yeah, the league's clearly trying to stay away from that, which is definitely a marked turnaround from the super team era, and won't really allow for that. In addition to that one, if a team exceeds the second apron, they have no ability to trade first round picks that are 7 years out. So that means like you can't keep adding on, is what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna spend all this money to like, you know, finesse this team, and you know, if y'all end up being great, cool, you're stuck with that pick. You don't get to finesse your draft picks to make more trades. You better develop somebody because you're stuck with the picks.
I like that rule. I actually like that rule. Like you shouldn't be able to trade 7 years out.
Yeah, nah, it's crazy. It's a strong reaction from the NBA. The NBA doesn't revolve around Bron.
So you could realistically like taking on bad contracts. You could almost nuke your team. You know, like say like not to pick on the Wizards, but all right, the Wizards paid Wall, they paid Bill. Like you could have potentially been stuck with those guys and not been able to maneuver because of the cap restrictions or draft pick restrictions or things like that. So
if we would see that apron, right? But you know, yeah. but we just traded those for like straight up salary matches, and maybe they're gonna do something to that next. So like you have to eat these guys, you know, contracts, and you can't just trade away salary matches. But like
that reminds me of Devin Booker, because didn't he just sign like a $80 per year for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
But
Did he?
isn't that like
He just extended. He got
but that extension like gives him like, but that's like damn near 1/3 of your max money.
Well, what are you getting? 50 a year? I think it's what 160. So
And they're supposed to be
damn near
80,
fifth.
80 per year with the
Oh,
extension.
it's 80 per year?
Yeah, look at his new contract he signed. It's 80 per year compared to the one that the SGA got that was 72, I believe.
So are we saying these cap restrictions, I guess this new cap is going to make teams have to like reset and rebuild a little bit quicker?
I want to
No,
say, but you're
definitely a
also
little bit
lowballing
different.
old players. Then you're giving
Definitely a little bit
a bunch of
different. I don't
players.
know if it's quicker, but different though. Maybe. I think the idea is parity though, for sure. I think that's what
But
the
is
NBA
it
is getting
though?
at. If you think about it, bro, because when what's the commissioner's name? Adam Silver. When he was on the stage, after the championship, I don't know if y'all peeped what he was saying, but he was like, man, no, this is before the draft. This is before the draft. I don't know if y'all peeped what he was saying before the draft, but he was like, welcome to the NBA draft where 7 different teams have won the championship in the last 7 years. NBA is holding their hat on that shit, bro. Because for years, we used to always say, like, there's no parity in the NBA. We already know who's making the chip. But when I heard Adam Silver say that shit, I'm like, oh, that's what they trying to market their league as now. Like, any team has a shot at legitimately winning a championship.
All right. Parity is good in general, right? And in theory, I'm not going to say in general. In theory, parity. But as fans, do the fans actually want parity, right? Because to me, it's
no.
I think in today's day and time is different than the last couple generations, bro. Because players, fans, casual fans are following players more than they're following teams now. It used to be the reverse. The casual fan used to follow a team more than the player. But now with the age we live in, when I would say like the personality-driven age, like right streamers, shit like that, where people feel like they know these people because the access they have to them, social media and stuff. Like, I feel like people are following players, dog, and that makes the team part of things more irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? And if all of everyone's favorite players all have a shot at a championship every year, I think the league gonna eat off this premise.
I don't know, man. I see a lot of parity in hockey where if you just get to the playoffs, you got a shot, and I don't know what it's doing for the sport, but that But I do.
There's no parity because it's been the same team. The Panthers for the last 3 years have been making it. Won the last 2.
But just getting there, hockey, you see upsets, and I guess we saw upsets this year, right? In the NBA.
Shit, the NBA looked like it might be like you had the Pacers in the finals, bro. Conference finals last year, like showing that like you don't have to be number 1 seed to go far back-to-back years. Like, it's impressive, bro. What the NBA is, I think the NBA is on the way to accomplishing what they're trying to. And maybe that's really what, to your point, T, that's really what the goal of this was to, force more parity. Because like, I don't know if y'all are peeping this, but the days of the big free agents are over, in my opinion, of like NBA big time free agents, like everyone waiting on free agency day and time to see who goes where. Remember that one big year where Bosh went to Heat and Brown, all these players just, shifting teams. That shit's over with, bro. The way players are getting moved is one of 2 ways. They're deciding while they're with a team, I don't fuck with this team no more because they hold the leverage, or a team is deciding, I don't fuck with this player no more, and they're trading them the moment they decide that. Or they're letting it be known the moment they decide that, bro. It's no more like, wait until this contract's up, we'll get rid of this guy. It's like, nah, he doesn't fit in our plan anymore, but his contract will fit into a rebuilding team's plan. And it's going to be a revolving door of that now, bro. Revolving door. Just like.
But back to what you were saying earlier, but the NBA always been about following the player, not the team.
Nah.
Since when it hasn't been, you're not following the team no more.
Sure, to a certain extent, right? But LeBron is when it got out of control.
So we're just gonna put everything on LeBron James?
We got to. We got to. Like, LeBron is when it got out of control. It's people with a Cleveland, Miami, Lakers jersey. Like, you don't even watch basketball. You just are a LeBron fan. Like, Also, once upon a time, guys stayed with their team a little bit longer. It wasn't a bunch of
Right.
for you to have to follow you followed your player, you followed your team. You followed Jordan, you followed the Bulls, you followed Tim Duncan, you followed the Spurs, you followed Kobe, you followed the Lakers. But
that's when the shit had a little honor to it, because teams would be a little more loyal to players as they were falling out their prime. They would turn those players into role players. Now it's like you fall out your prime, and we're going to trade that name to a rebuilding team who can take on the contract.
But see,
this is crazy work.
In my personal opinion, the way I see it now, I think this helps. If who's helping the most, I think it's going to help the collegiate level, the college kids. Because now, like, why would you come to the NBA knowing that if you can't get that second contract, that big money, because you're basically saying you have to be a top 3 player on that team. How many guys are going to make that top 3 money?
No. It depends on your personality and what you got going on in your life, because I just watched a bunch of bums get paid.
Who?
Guys that don't even play. What's bro in Toronto that just got paid, man? He might have just left Toronto and went somewhere else. A big man, white guy.
Oh, you
Slovakian?
Jakob Portal?
Nah.
None of these guys are getting paid. All these free agents got like veteran minimums.
People was getting 3 years, 60. Like, listen, people got paid, man. The NBA is still looking at their football money and laughing.
God.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The NFL is looking at football money and laughing, but the NBA is paying their players way more.
Well,
crazy work.
I'm saying, like, the NBA still has a 15-man roster and they're generating a ton of money, so they can pay these guys. But I can't think of the guy, man. But a couple people just got paid, and it's just like, bro, how? Like, what are they paying you for?
I don't know. I don't like it, because for me, I feel like you're breaking up teams sometimes. Like, I mean, the only team I think that prep for this is OKC, with all those draft picks. Like, I don't think it's. I think it's gonna be. Does Chat stage for his second big contract, or they're not gonna have enough salary room to move him?
Chat stays. I think they just swapped the kind of like the Bulls, man. I told you, OKC gonna be like the Bulls. They're gonna swap the role players. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna swap out a Horace Grant for a Rodman. Like, they're gonna swap the Dort for somebody else, but they're gonna keep the top guys. They're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
And if what you're saying is true, they got enough. They have so much talent and so many picks. They could just go over the cap. They'll be fine. They don't have to do a lot. When you're good, you don't got to do too much maneuvering.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Nikola Topic like he might be one.
He ain't even played. Like,
yeah, I was looking at him in summer league. He was just like balling. I was like, damn, they might have another one in the cut, bro.
How do you feel about the news with Jokic saying that he's not signing no extension this year?
That's crazy work, man. And it's crazy because a couple weeks ago you heard the owner talking about like they might not be able to keep Jokic. You saw that, right?
But he was more saying if he would have gotten hurt. Like,
but bro, why are you saying any of this shit, bro?
Because he's a fucking idiot. He's a rich dude that didn't give a fuck.
Knew this shit was coming and it was unavoidable, or Joker about to be
so.
Soon.
I think it's like these owners are like, yo, well, I know I'm gonna end up giving him a crazy extension, and if let's say he gets hurt for one of these extension, that's big money that I'm just gonna have. This is gonna be dead big money, and I don't think they want to. It's like what I just said about Devin Booker. Let's say Devin Booker, knock on wood, pause, he gets hurt. That's 80 mil just there, just gone to waste because they have to pay him that money. I think with all these big contracts, because all these extensions are no longer like 5 years. I think that most of them are like 3 years now.
I mean, guys, you got to pay talent. I don't. That's just the name of the game.
But Devin Booker, let's be real. Devin Booker, 80 mil or anything.
Got to pay talent. But Jokic, I think that's just the owner. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that maybe they're trying to get a little leverage out of the situation. Probably like playing a little hardball. I don't think you should do that with a guy that's won you a championship. But
arguably the number one player in the league.
If Luka can get moved, anybody can get moved.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying
fucking
to
sick.
understand why. I'm really trying to understand why that owner would say he had to get rid of Jokic. Even understanding the first and second apron, I'm not seeing why. Like,
Because I think it's dead money. I think
what are you
that's what
trying to say? We
Jimmy.
wouldn't be able to build a team without otherwise because they have to pay him so much.
Yes. Because I'm gonna pay him. Let's say he was basically alluding to it. Like, let's say I had to pay Jokic this big money, but he gets hurt, and now I can't build around him because I'm paying him this big money, but he's not even playing.
He said Jokic is an albatross.
Type shit. I could- he's one of those. I mean, but the owner put his foot in his mouth because what was it like a day later he goes back and apologizes.
Hey, listen, I get it though. To a certain extent I get it because it's kind of where I am with the Bucks and Giannis. Like, bro, if we're not gonna build a championship team with a guy that good, start over. Just start over. Just start over.
Yeah,
The
but it's like why? The question then you got to ask is like, as if it's just bad gymming, it's bad gymming. But as far as like this first and second apron thing goes, why couldn't a team hypothetically build around Giannis? But I guess it's because the supporting cast for Giannis, right, are going to want good contracts too, right? And then if it doesn't work out, you know what I'm saying, one or the other puts you in a tough position. Which is why like the teams that are able to build pipelines are going to be really be rewarded at this point, right? If you got guys, that's why you got to respect what OKC is doing for sure because they got guys that are clearly the guy behind the guy who is they're priming to get ready. They're giving larger and larger roles to throughout the careers of these folks. I was reluctant to give any credence to the dynasty talk from OKC, but after seeing Nikola Topic, I'm like, yeah, he might actually be that guy. Still not going to talk dynasty yet, but yeah, you might have been on to something there, T.
I told you they're gonna be good for a long time.
We'll see. We'll see. I have to maneuver in them aprons, but we'll see.
Listen, I feel like they already struggled this year because young team hadn't been there before, but now they done figured out how to win a championship. It's a couple things in life where it's like once you do it, you know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think that could be it for them.
But did you not feel that way about Boston when they won it the year before?
Yeah, I did. I thought
he definitely did, bro. Now them niggas, now they blew that shit up, boy.
After
he was
2 years,
boy. He told us it was the beginning of something.
Bro, I blame Joe Mazzulla, but
he was loving Missoula, boy. Damn, the way
Mazzulla. I was not loving Mazzulla.
I was loving Missoula, dog. You was on your Missoula's the perfect coach for a Jason Tatum talk. Right?
Never said.
I remember this shit. I will find it, bro. You know I'm gonna find the receipts, man. He was loving Missoula, dog. Turn on Missoula's nasty work.
Yo, Bryce, what's your favorite phrase? Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape,
bro. Run the tape. Y'all know my two favorite phrases, man. Run the tape and fuck the critics. I love the two phrases. But yeah, man, it's interesting to just see how like quickly teams are now to blow shit up. That's another big change to the NBA, and I think that has something to do with the parity we see it, right? Because you see it, the Pacers make a quick run. If you the Celtics, you like, bro, let's retool. Like we could be right back there with them. We get JT healthy, right?
Yeah, you saw
off a year, maybe we get a top 3 pick. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be real interesting this next, I'd say, like 10-year span of the NBA. In addition to like the parity they're adding, you got this influx of like European players and foreign players that are really changing it too, and kind of changing how loyalties lie as far as like fans go, right? To our earlier point, man, someone coming from another country may care way less about what team they're rooting for.
That's another topic we don't have the time tonight, but we got to get to that. USA basketball better do something
now, like right
ASAP.
The Canadians are here. The French boys, they coming. And
Canadians ain't here.
They are, bro. And the league, Shea just won the MVP, bro.
No cap. What was it? They said it was like 5 or 7 starting Canadians in
They got like
overall in the finals.
Canadians on that team, on that OKC team. It was a Canadian, 2 Canadians playing significant time for Indiana. Like Canadians are low key taking over the league, and then you look at like the Euros. They always doing their thing. The French boys, man, the French boys coming, bro. The French boys coming. Like they on it. It'd be a couple. Shout out to NBA Africa. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a couple of them African boys that come around every year or two. Like, bro, American basketball. Do better, man. We still running it, but time is ticking.
You want to unlock it. I don't want to have a full-blown conversation, but if you want to unlock American basketball, you have to detach education from professional sports. Like you have to. The pipeline cannot go through. Our best players can't be hamstrung by not learning biology. All right, just what it is. It's just the truth. The days of what if you tear your ACL and have to get a job, those days are over. Those days are over. Like, you need to be identified as talent as early as 11, 12, 13 and get into some academy just like the other countries are doing. How are you gonna play against a guy that's been a pro since 13? When you was 13 watching anime, this guy was in the gym.
Don't blame the Demon Slayer watches now, man.
Hey, bro, but dog, the good mister in the end of the day always gets proven right, bro. Because I was telling y'all this when the NIL shit first popped off, bro. Like before it, I told y'all this shit's all about to change, dog. The days of college sports, that shit's done. I've been telling you this for years, bro. I've been telling you this for years, dog. That is their advantage over us, bro. They don't have no college sports. Ain't no, bro. You in an academy. From that academy, that academy you're in has a pro team, right? So you're identifying you, putting in our pro academy. You're advancing through the U17, 18, 19. We might not even put you on the big team till you're 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they developing over there, bro. A lot of these players, the young European players that come to the NBA and play immediately, would have had to wait 3 or 4 more years to play in Europe. Because it's like they have a system and you get in the system and you got to go through the system unless you're just fucking, the rare exception. Unless you're
right.
Winning, you know what I'm saying?
You're right, because these Americans that go overseas, they never go to the European league. They go to like Dagestan, like Russia, China, but those leagues aren't known to produce great guys to come into the US, like the Euro guys.
Well, they have limits on how many Americans you can have in most of those teams. So you can't just say, "Hey, I'm going to play for Real Madrid." Like, no. We have a program over here, like Bryce said. Like, you might not fit what we're doing. Like, you could help us, but you might not fit what we're doing as a program.
Right. So do our players play too much ISO ball? Is that our problem?
Well, we have the broken AAU system, which is it's not all ISO ball, but they're not teaching the game. You're learning basketball. You're a student of the European players, the foreign players in general are students of basketball. Over here, we just got a bunch of athletes. We got a bunch of guys that can jump out the gym. We got a bunch of guys that train and lift weights, and some of them can shoot it, but they don't really teach basketball over here. You just play and you watch the athletes rise to the top. Over there, you got to learn, bro. You're running plays, you're running sets. They're not coming out freestyling. It's almost similar to the women's game. If you watch women's basketball, they're running a set every 3 out of every 4 possessions. There's somebody setting a back screen, a stagger screen. Somebody's coming off an elevator screen, a down pick, a curl, a dribble handoff. Like, it's a lot of actions in the European sport. And in the NBA, there's a lot of actions. People just don't always notice them, but that's why, like, certain players come from college and can't adjust. It's not because they don't know how to, not because they can't keep up. They don't know how to play basketball. You hear LeBron talk about it. You hear Draymond talk about it. There's a science to basketball, and trying to learn it when you get to the NBA is rough. They're teaching that over there, 13, 14, 15. America's play. Blind pig. What a slob is, a blob is. The X's and O's. Look at Luka and Jokic, bro. Those are basketball savants. They don't have to run faster than you and jump higher than you to dominate you. That's IQ.
So you're saying, to dumb it down to some of our audience, we lack fundamentals.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, look at LaMelo's jump shot. Look at the mechanics of LaMelo's jump shot. Look, Lonzo too, for that matter, how they came into the league. You know what I'm saying? European guys, it's rare that you see can't make open shots. They might not can get their shot off. They might not can be consistent contested. But if you leave them there, they're gonna knock down shot after shot after shot.
Yeah. It's different, man. We got to do something though. I feel like we're going towards that. We've been going towards that, especially some of these academies popping up. I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before the Lakers, the Wizards, the Sixers all got youth academies, bro. Like the question is, how do you then do drafts? Because that's the thing. If you're in my youth academy, I don't ever have to draft you. I just had to give you the most money. It's like how the Nationals got Juan Soto, right? They never had to draft Juan Soto, right? They never had to be good at drafting. They just found him in Dominican and signed him, right? Gave him this money.
I don't think draft is necessarily the best way to do team building. Like that's just an American concept. It's kind of like how they sell you democracy, right? Like, hey, this is the best way to build a nation. Like, no, nations are developing in other ways outside of democracy. You can build leagues and teams without having a draft. The draft is a cool show, but we don't. The draft would be when you get the players into your academy. like that's the draft. Like your program better be able to market to this Cooper Flag, the 12-year-old Cooper Flag.
But then we're talking about
It's
cheap
gonna
owners.
It's gonna become who gives them the most money, bro.
But then we're talking about cheap owners then, because how many of these NBA owners really want to spend this kind of money? The only one that came out publicly that says, "Well, I don't give a fuck about no luxury tax problems," was the Sun. And literally, he ate the tax this year. Had Beal on the bench, KD and Booker, like literally paying over the salary cap. And like, how many NBA owners are you? Can we say like, yeah, that's the kind of owner that's willing to take that for a fan base?
Copycat league. Once the formula is proven to work, other people are going to do it.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to track this, man. We definitely have to keep our eyes over this, not only just like the Euro and foreign influx to the NBA, but also how USA basketball responds and how the NBA parity-wise continues to change. I'm excited for it. I think we got a good few years, maybe entering like a new golden era of NBA basketball. Somebody's got to take that reign from LeBron, KD, and all those boys. But y'all know, man, a good show as always. Any closing words before we get out of here, fellas?
Man, the Yankees been sucking mad dick. Fuck the Yankees. Fuck everything about them, man. They can't get their shit together. They finally put my man Jazz in second base. I don't know why the fuck they had him in third. Fucking idiots. And now look at our pitching. Jesus Christ, don't get me starting with our pitching. Motherfuckers can't even throw a slider at this point. They're just letting people just hit dingers. I mean, 6-game losing streak. I mean, I know we just beat the Mets on some like, hey, whatever. They didn't give a fuck about that Sunday game, and we just finally won the second game today, but to a bunch of bums in Seattle. I don't give a fuck what you tell me, man. We ain't going to no World Series again, man. I gotta wait again. This is some bullshit.
Yeah,
that's my rant. I'm sorry.
I try to tell you that, but T, anything before we roll out, bro?
Yeah, man. I've taken off like two Mondays out of the last like 4 weeks, and honestly, we should work towards a 3-day weekend. I think it'll benefit everybody. But like, hey man, give yourself that extended weekend. Enjoy the summer, man. Try to get yourself to a pool or a beach or just something relaxing, man. Like you'll be surprised how much better you feel just having that one extra day to just unwind, man, and not all of the hustle and bustle that comes with the American lifestyle. Just give yourself that one extra day. Them 8 hours of leave ain't gonna make or break you, man. So take that and enjoy it.
Man, I was just having this conversation with my lady, man. It's like the American way right now is to get you to spend every single dollar that you bring in on your lifestyle.
Your time.
Like it's crazy. It's crazy, man. But hey, we're gonna get on the philosophical wave and breaking down societal issues next pod, man. Y'all know how we end each and every show, fellas. Sports for the
Deporte
culture.
para que lo cultura.